So here's a video I wish I didn't have to make, but it's regarding the murder of a young woman in Florianopolis last, I think it was Friday or Saturday. Yeah, Friday. So I thought I'd do a video just because it's pretty shocking to us, because we feel pretty safe here in Florianopolis, but this just brings home that it's no paradise here in terms of crime. There is definitely the spectre of violent crime, just like anywhere else in Latin America, looming over the place. But I thought I'd just go through it because some people kind of make it like Florianopolis is a utopia where no crime takes place and you're never going to get into bother, you're never going to get into issues here. It's just simply not true. So let's just talk about the actual murder, what happened here. So this is the victim, Catarina Kasten. She was found dead with signs of violence in the Praia do Matadeiro region. So this is a beach. Let's have a look on here. The Matadeiro is this beach here, and you can only get to it by walking to it. Me and my family have walked this beach many times, which is why it's so shocking and upsetting, because it would be upsetting anyway. But the fact of the matter is that she was murdered here, around this area here. As you'll see, you walk across this bridge here, and that's where the cars stop. So you can walk up the trail here. So this is the trail here, and you walk up here. Yeah, she was found somewhere around here, I think. Unfortunately, her body was found around here somewhere. So, very sad story, very sad end to her life. That's the Matadeiro beach that she was heading towards. I've been there so many times with my family as well. It's a great beach for families, great beach for kids. So this was where it took place. So this is the guy here. This is the suspect. He was lurking around. He followed her, and I think that's where her body was. He brutally assaulted her, I think abused her sexually, and then murdered her in cold blood. So yeah, this stuff happens in Florianopolis. But to put it into context, this is pretty rare. It's not like this stuff is happening every day, every week, every month. No, it's pretty shocking to everyone. And they did find the guy pretty quickly. Having said that, though, he was just sitting here on Armasal Beach. He was sitting here, changed his clothes. So it wasn't like there was a massive manhunt for him. He was found pretty quickly. And apparently he confessed to the crime, and he confessed to taking drugs that morning. Now, this is something that I want to touch upon, because there does seem to be an influx of other Brazilians, other foreigners. I'm not just saying Brazilians here, but mostly Latin Americans, come into the city, and they're already addicted to drugs. And the mayor's trying to remove them. The mayor, Topazio, he's trying to remove these addicts as soon as they arrive in the city. There does seem to be an increase in this type of in people coming here who are addicted to drugs, and they have no prospects whatsoever. They don't have any job. They just arrive here, and then they just, because this guy was from Rio Grande do Sul. But let's try and put this into context. I did mention this to AI because I wanted to understand the trajectory of violent crime here in Florianopolis. So I asked Perplexity this question after the murder of Catarina Kasten in Florianopolis. What is the trajectory of violent crime in Florianopolis? Is it increasing or decreasing year on year? And it says here, based on the information gathered, she was sexually assaulted and killed on the Matadeiro Trail while walking to a swimming class. The suspect, Giovane Correa Mayer, 21, was arrested and confessed to the crime. And my wife said this to me years ago, because she's from Cali in Colombia, and it's quite a dangerous city. She said to me, you never want to have a set in stone routine in terms of always going to the same place at the same time every week. I know some people were like, well, this girl needed to go to a swimming class. But here's the problem, though. If somebody catches on to the fact you're going to be in a certain place at a certain time every single week, there's people out there, predators now. He was probably stalking Catarina previously. Who knows whether he was doing this as a spur of the moment thing where he just decided to kill somebody that morning. But I've got a suspicion that he probably was stalking her. It's not a good idea in Latin America, in my opinion and my wife's opinion as well, to always be in the same place at the same time as part of a routine. You want to try and mix it up, or at least go with other people, so you're not so predictable, no? And I know it's difficult because, let's say, for instance, if you've got a hobby, which is where there's a meetup in the same place, same time every week, and you need to be there, especially if it's in the morning, the early morning or late evening or something like that. These are the times where these sort of crimes take place. Actually, there was another crime here in Florianopolis not long back. Let's take a look at that. So yeah, I found it after searching for a little while, and it says here that the woman escaped a abduction. Woman escapes kidnapping and police chased her in Florianopolis. So this happened this year. So victim jumps from a moving car, prompting a helicopter and cellular police units to be deployed in the capital, Santa Catarina. Attempted robbery in Florianopolis resulted in a cinematic police chase on Monday morning around 10 a.m. This was 10 months ago. So she was preparing to surf again, first thing in the morning. And I don't know if she was doing this every single morning. Oh, this was just an opportunity that these people took. But it's probably not a good idea to go to the same place every morning or once a week to go surfing at that time in the morning. The reason why I say this is because, like with the guy who killed Catarina, he was taking drugs. And at that time in the morning, people are still up from the night before. They're still high on drugs. They're probably coming down, so they're in a really bad place mentally. Anyway, around 10 a.m., the woman was preparing to surf at Morro das Pedras beach and was passed by 3 armed men. They forced her into the trunk of a Citroen C4, but unable to start the vehicle, they put her in the passenger seat so she could do it. The victim, showing courage, jumped out the moving car and immediately called the military police. These suspects abandoned the car and they jumped on the bus and they were intercepted by the police then. Let's go and have a look at some other newsworthy violent crimes flowing up this year. A 20-year-old black man was killed inside his home. A 48-year-old dwarf was shot and killed by military police in Pantano do Sul. So that was in the Sul da Ilha, not far from us. Teen Niño, black man shot in the head in Villa Cochera. Ingleses. 4 men died during a military police go in Cacupe. And that's supposed to be a nice area, quite a affluent area. 3 armed men robbed a convenience store, Sacobrangi, near Cacupe. As you can see, Florianopolis is not paradise. It's not immune to violent crime. It happens here. But let's try and put this into perspective. What is the trajectory of violent crime in Florianopolis? Despite this tragic case with Catarina, violent crime in Florianopolis has been decreasing significantly in recent years. The homicide data for Florianopolis shows a clear downtrend. In 2021, 41. 2022, 39. 2023, 22. 2024, 34. So there was an increase. But it does show a decrease year over year. At the broader level, on the state level, Santa Catarina has achieved historic lows in violent crime rates. In the first half of 2025, the state recorded its lowest violent death rate since 2011. So Florianopolis was ranked as Brazil's safest capital in 2025 with a homicide of 10.7 100,000, 53% below the national average. Despite the horrific murder of Catarina Kasten, the data indicates that violent crime in Florianopolis is generally decreasing year over year. So what can we take away from this? That Florianopolis experiences violent crime like any other city in the world. Probably more so than the average European city. I'm not too sure about the US. It might be on par with the US. But it's certainly safer than most places in Brazil. It's the safest capital out of all. And I still feel safe here. But you need to take precautions. And you need to not feel like you're immune or you're a bubble here, that it's not going to happen to you. I'm pretty sure if you take the right precautions, especially women, I'm not trying to say here that women can't look after themselves or anything like that, but yeah, women are targeted more than men, aren't they? It's just a fact. So going on trails on your own, early morning or in the late afternoon or whatever, then probably not the best idea to be doing that constantly. Having the same routine where you're going to be in the same place, same time, every single week. You can get away with these things for years maybe, and most people probably nothing will happen to them. But it only takes one time for this to happen. And it could be your first time and also your last time, just like Catarina. She probably never had this happen to her before, but it was her first time and her last time. So it's all okay until it isn't. You just got to take precautions. And you have to remember that you're still in Latin America, you're still in Brazil, and this stuff happens here. But still, it's a pretty safe place to live. I don't feel like me or my family's life or we're in danger here or anything like that. But we'll be keeping an eye on this. sort of thing over the years. If things start to get worse here, then maybe we'll have to think about moving elsewhere. But for the time being, hopefully this is just a one-off, an unfortunate one-off.